up. What's up, champ?
What's going on, brother?
Pleasure to do this. Pleasure to have you in here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
That was a phenomenal performance in Brazil against Glover Teixeira in his hometown. Last minute, how much time did you have to prep for that?
I had about 6 weeks.
Oh, you did have 6 weeks.
Yeah, I had 6 weeks.
But it was, but you knew that it was it was supposed to be 3 rounds, and then they changed it to the title for 5 rounds, right?
No.
It
was a title right
that was right after Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz. So right from
they
there.
They legitimately called me while they were still.
Wow.
Yeah, while they were still in the cage.
If you wanted a full camp for a 5-round fight, though, what would you prefer? Like, how much time do you really need?
I prefer maybe about 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks.
So slightly abbreviated, but your performance was phenomenal, man. I mean, it was amazing to see you pick apart Glover like that, and to do so well on the ground too. I mean, that was a big victory.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought that I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Well, that was just a general assumption, was that I couldn't grapple on the ground and things like that. When that's definitely.
But you getting that general assumption from who though? People online?
Just picks. Like, you know what I mean? Just like people like an analyst, then like any like the fighters or whatever that I talk to, like they be like, oh, like they always say, it's always something that they say. Even guys in the division, you know, they were like, oh, he's just a boxer. You know, I don't know if he can really wrestle or if he can really has like kicks or anything like that. Yeah, they're questioning the kicks too. You know, so that's
some of the biggest moments in the fight. That left high kick of yours. Yeah. Well, people are going to question you until they can't anymore.
Right.
That's how it goes. You know, there's always, I don't know about this guy, and then all of a sudden he's the best ever. You never know.
Right, and that's why I'm just hungry for, you know what I mean, for names, man. I'm hungry for the next challenge.
What did it feel like when they strapped that thing around your waist?
Man, it's a hard thing to describe. It was just like almost like unreal, like almost like living almost like in a dream, like one of the dreams that I've had. You know, and it was just like, I don't know, it was just crazy. Just the weight of everything that I did and been through and everything it was a lot.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot. It's a lot for everybody. I mean, that's a moment that very few human beings will ever achieve. There's it right now.
Yeah, that's when he told me that he was about to retire.
I mean, it's amazing how long that dude has hung in there. He was the boogeyman for 6 years. You know, for 6 years, Glover lived in Brazil and he couldn't get a visa. And this was like in the early days, like when Chuck Liddell was the UFC light heavyweight champion. That's how far back Glover goes.
Right. I heard something about like he went pro in 2001.
Yeah. Crazy. Right? Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
22 years later. And then
still fighting for a world championship.
And, you know, having that fight with Jiri Prochazka where he lost the title, I mean, that was a crazy close fight until he got caught in that choke. He was ahead.
I think it was.
Yeah, he was ahead in that fight.
Yeah, I believe it was.
That video that you made to Jiri was hilarious. We played it on the podcast.
Yeah, man. You can't let it slide.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. That was the first thing that came in my head whenever he said, I'm coming. Now, I can't, like, bro. He's ruined the phrase for me now, because now I can't say it at all. No matter what, somebody call me and be like, "Oh, I'm coming." Like,
I'm coming.
Like, just
he's an odd duck.
Yeah,
that dude's an odd duck. He's strange. He's very, very different. Do you see like when he was fighting Glover and Glover was beating him up? He was like, "Good job, good job."
Yeah, like tapping him on it.
I thought it was like, well, you can't do that, man. It looks like you're tapping.
Looks like you're tapping.
Like, what are you doing? He's like, "Good job, good job."
Mm-hmm.
But he's saying "good job," and I think it was it Mark Goddard who was the referee? I think it was Mark Goddard. Whoever it was warning him. It's like, hey, don't fucking slap him and say "good job." You can't do that. Just what a weird thing to do. Guys on top of you, raining blows down. You're like, good job, good job. Like,
yeah, bro. I don't know. Only thing I can think would be possibly it could be like just like a tactic to try to make it seem like all like no matter what you're wasting your time,
right?
Type thing. Like, you know what I mean? Try to like get in their head, because I think even like with the whole samurai thing, like he wants to play. He obviously wants to this image to be believed of and things like that. But you know, I just seen him when I was at the PI a couple of days ago, and he's a nice dude. You know, he walked up, he's like, "Nice to meet you." things like that. And then like I came back the next day. I was going into PT and he was working. He's like I'm working on it. You know what I mean, working, trying to get back. I'm like, take your time, do your thing.
He's already had the shoulder surgery, right?
I don't know. I would assume if he's already trying to rehab.
Yeah, I'm sure he has, because apparently his shoulder was the worst shoulder they had ever seen. The UFC doctors had never seen a shoulder that fucked up before. Do you know what happened to him?
No.
His shoulder went out of socket in training camp, and they tried to put it back in.
Yeah,
and these dudes are yanking on it. These just gym dudes yanking on it, and they fucked it up way worse.
Yeah, that's never a good idea.
Yeah, go to a fucking doctor, man.
Right.
You're a world champion.
World champion.
And he had to give up his title like that. Well, it's interesting that he did decide to give up his title. He could have held on to it, and they could have had an interim title, and you could be fighting him for the undisputed title. But instead, he's like, nope, I'm going to give up my title. That's why I thought he's an odd dude.
Yeah, that's strange, because that's not only like I don't think that's not only like a bad move legacy wise. That's a bad business move.
Yeah,
because now your next fight, you fight as a challenger.
Yeah,
you don't get the same pay-per-view buys. You know what I mean. You don't get the same amount of money or none of that. So
yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I could imagine the thought process behind it. Like you want to be noble. But you got to take care of your money, bro. You got to take care of your money. I mean, how many world title fights you get? If you're lucky, everything goes perfect, and he should know now, especially being injured, like, hey, this could happen, and you could get a catastrophic injury, and you could be out for a year or so. You never know.
I think it was a play of him trying to be noble. Just trying to be noble, trying to he does the right thing, where he respects the warrior. And
I like how you're thinking about it, like 3D chess. Like, what is this motherfucker doing for real?
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, man, I think a lot of what he does is meant to put a certain image in your head. So
I'm sure. I mean, it makes sense. It would be smart to do. I mean, he's got a weird image. He's out there throwing kicks at trees.
Right.
He's like wraps a tree up in a foam pad and starts punching it and kicking it, like
yelling in the woods.
Yeah, like, okay, man. Gyms are better. Gyms are definitely better than a tree.
I want to know what it is about being in the woods that just makes him wants to yell. Like, what is it? Are you upset with the trees? Do you just feel alone?
It's like
do you want to be heard? I mean, these are all questions.
Do you want to be heard? Right. Yeah. I mean, does it make you more noble or sophisticated to be in the woods?
I don't know, man.
What is it? Remember when Rocky was training for Drago and Rocky 4? He went to the woods, running in the snow, carrying logs and shit.
I think, matter of fact, it makes me feel weird just even saying it in the I'm Coming video. Damn it.